Hey everyone, welcome back to Manhwa Mantra. A big shout out to all of you for helping me reach 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. From now on, I'll be adding illustrations to my videos to make them more engaging, so stay tuned for that. And if you have any manhwa suggestions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll explain them in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Let's get started. You only care about girls, and now look at us. We're stuck with sealed cultivation while you play hero, not even caring what happens to us. How can we trust you? The Fiends glared at Zhuofan while everyone else stayed silent. Zhuofan rolled his shoulders casually. Why are you complaining when I just saved you? Fiend Yang chuckled mockingly. You think that's enough? You brought this mess upon us. Now we're all tense, and the younger ones are so scared they won't even sleep. Shouldn't you do something about it? Zhuofan smirked. Oh, please. Elders like you coming to the Double Dragon gathering scared? You're just trying to extort me. Do you really think I'll fall for it? The trio stiffened, but Fiend Yang pressed on. A leader doesn't cheat his fellow disciples or drag them into trouble. Zhuofan raised an eyebrow. When did I drag trouble here? Yan Mo! That whole situation with him wasn't even our problem. It was mystical heaven sex issue. But for some woman... Zhuofan cut him off, his tone sharp. And how do you know it wasn't related to us? Hellion Flame is competing in the Double Dragon gathering, right? Ever heard of knowing your enemy? This was the perfect chance to gather intel on them. Fiend Yang snapped. But they're a superior 3 sect. Exactly, Zhuofan retorted, standing firm. Do you know everything about their disciples? Their cultivation methods? Skills, no? Then don't lecture me. You should be ashamed for neglecting your disciples instead of blaming me. The trio was left speechless. Wait, how did this become our fault? They thought. Scratching their beards, they were lost in Zhuofan's twisted reasoning. Finally, Fiend Yang argued, even so, they're a superior sect. Why should we scout them? Shouldn't we focus on the middle 3 sects and target the weakest to climb up? Zhuofan scoffed. How small-minded. Are you satisfied with just being in the middle? The trio froze. You mean, when I aim high. Zhuofan's pride was unmistakable. I'll challenge the superior 3 sects. The middle ones are too easy. Gasps filled the air. The demon scheming sect had only dreamed of making it to the middle 3 sects. Challenging the superior 3 was unthinkable. Fiend Gui patted Zhuofan's shoulder. Impressed. You truly surpass us old folks. How confident are you? Zhuofan shrugged. Not much. Their disciples are strong. Take Yanmo, for instance. I had to use 2/3 of my strength just to test him. If there's someone stronger at the gathering, it'll be tough. But I'll give it my all. The trio's faces twitched. Yanmo, one of the Western land's best talents, was barely a challenge for him, they thought. They exchanged glances, realizing Zhuofan might just achieve the impossible. Laughing nervously, Fiend Yang said, All right then, we'll follow your lead, for the sect's sake. As they walked away, they paused. Wait. When did we agree to this? Weren't we supposed to get something out of him? The answer hit them. Sacred stones? Regret settled in. They had planned to intimidate Zhuofan into handing over sacred stones, but ended up roped into his grand ambitions. Steward Zhuo is as cunning as a weasel. Meanwhile, Zhuofan sighed inwardly. Damn it, I could have stuck to the middle 3 sects, but now I've made things harder for myself. Shui Rohua approached him cautiously. Young Master Zhuo, what did you mean earlier? Toothache, he said dismissively. She blinked, confused. Toothache? After all these years of cultivation, that doesn't make sense. But she chuckled at his gloomy look. Zhuofan frowned. Why are you here? To mock my toothache? Shui Rohua smiled politely. No, young Master Zhuo. Thank you for everything you've done. Mystical Heaven Sect will remember this. Since we're all heading to the Double Dragon gathering, let us escort your disciples as thanks. Zhuofan waved her off. No need. We can handle ourselves. She insisted. Please, it's the least we can do. Some of your disciples can barely move. Zhuofan's eyes narrowed. I don't believe in free favors. What's your real motive? Shui Ruohua tensed under his piercing gaze. Before she could answer, Zhuan Xiaoyu burst out. Why should we lower ourselves to help these demonic cultivators? We're a righteous sect, an elder shouted, silencing him. Enough! Yanmo's revenge could involve us, and Zhuofan is the only one capable of stopping him. For everyone's safety, we must cooperate. Demon scheming sect members smirked at the argument. Classic mystical heaven sect, burning bridges left and right. Shui Rohua blushed in embarrassment, lowering her head. Zhuo Fan chuckled. If you're so scared of revenge, maybe you shouldn't even bother going to the gathering. Just go home! He turned to his sect, leaving Shui Rohua flustered. Sir Zhuo, please, she called out. Zhuo Fan waved dismissively. I'm not mad. You fools aren't worth the effort. But his glance softened when he spotted Chu Ching Cheng. You're welcome to stay, but don't expect us to wait for you. Shui Ruohua's face lit up. Thank you, Sir Zhuo. But Zhuo Fan was already gone, leaving her with a small, hopeful smile. 1, 2, 1, 2, under the bright rays of the morning sun, signaling the start of a new day. Koi Lang and the others were struggling with their own bodies, trudging along the flat road with each exhausting step. Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan and the Fiends were enjoying a leisurely walk, a sharp contrast to the exhausted group behind them. The only change this morning was the company they had. Mystical Heaven Sect was trailing about 100 meters behind, moving slowly like beetles. What should have been an easy, refreshing journey had turned into a slow and tedious one for the Mystical Heaven Sect. Xuan Xiaoyu was furious. If anyone sees us, a righteous sect like ours, stuck behind the demon-scheming sect, we'll never hear the end of the humiliation, Elder Yun sighed. The young sect leader has changed so much. His temper has gotten worse. Everyone was tired of explaining the same thing to him. Sticking with the demon-scheming sect was for their own safety. But Xuan Xiaoyu wasn't listening, ignoring their concerns. The elders gave up and continued on, reluctantly staying behind the demon-scheming sect while ignoring Xuan Xiaoyu's complaints. Elder Yun was still worried, watching Xuan Xiaoyu's dark mood. Yanmo has pushed the young master further down a dangerous path. I fear he might be beyond saving. Little brother, stop complaining. It's hard enough to find someone to help us. They're even offering to protect us. Criticizing them will only make things worse for our sect, Shui Rohua advised with a smile. But Xuan Xiaoyu wouldn't listen. His gaze twisted in anger as he focused on Zhuo Fan. Demonic cultivators are evil, vile, and they're only helping us for their own gain. Staying with them will only lead to danger. Young master, that's not fair. We have nothing they'd want, Danner said with a smile, glancing at Chu Ching Cheng. If there's a hidden agenda, it's probably because of Sister Ching Cheng. Everyone laughed, teasing her with their looks. Blushing, Chu Ching Cheng glared back, but then sighed. If he was after me, I'd be happy even for a small amount of time with him. Doesn't he care for you? He's defending you with his life, Shui Ruohua remarked, looking at her strangely. Chu Ching Cheng shook her head. He's cold and ruthless, powerful but distant. I'd be happy just to have a little time in his life. The women were confused. Don't they seem close? Why is she so sad? Xuan Xiaoyu's face twisted further. His hands clenched into fists, his eyes never leaving Zhuo Fan. Sisters, let's help Sister Ching Cheng, Danner suggested. The girls nodded eagerly, but Shui Rohua hesitated. An angry voice interrupted. Ignorant girls, stop gossiping. You don't want to make a mistake. Haven't you seen what happened to senior sister? Learn from others' mistakes. The women exchanged nervous glances. Elder Yun turned to Chu Ching Cheng. Be careful with that man. If you get too close, you might fall into the demonic path and never come back. If only he were a playboy. Chu Ching Cheng nodded. I understand. Meanwhile, in the front, Fiend Yang chuckled. You call them righteous cultivators? More like butt beetles. Now they're trailing behind us, needing our protection, but still complaining. Ridiculous! The others agreed. Zhuo Fan, you've never let anyone follow you. Why the change? Fiend Yang asked, annoyed. Zhuo Fan shrugged. The road is there to be walked. They can follow if they want. It doesn't bother me. Fiend Yang snorted. A bunch of butt beetles. It's getting on my nerves. He smirked. Kid, you trying to protect that woman? Heh, the sect has rules against love. This won't end well. Fiend Yang gestured in the universal sign of pay up or I'll spill the beans. What are you doing? Zhuo Fan asked, confused. Fiend Yang grinned. Come on, show some appreciation. We won't say anything if you give each of us 1,000 sacred stones. 1,000 sacred stones? Go rob Double Dragon Manor, Zhuo Fan retorted. Fiend Yang laughed. No. We've seen how much you have. Holding all that wealth will only put you in danger. It's our job to look after it. Zhuofan sighed. Sacred stones are rare. Do you think I'm rich? I had some, but I had to use them all for the Double Dragon gathering. All I have left are these 2 poor stones. Here, take them. He tossed 2 glittering stones at them. The fiends were stunned. Is he really out of sacred stones, or is he playing us? They couldn't believe he was out. But considering how rare sacred stones were, they figured he couldn't have a pile of them. They sighed, disappointed. Zhuofan chuckled to himself. He wasn't going to let anyone take advantage of him. If he gave in to their first demand, they would just keep coming for more. He wouldn't let them get anything from him. If the fiends had heard his thoughts, they would have been furious. How rich are you, really? You're so good at hiding it that no one realizes it until they're already being milked. The 2 sects continued walking, keeping their distance. Unaware, a pair of sinister eyes followed them. Covered in blood and wounds, he looked more like a corpse than a man. Elder Yun had been right. Demonic cultivators were vengeful. Yanmo was eager for revenge, even though he wasn't fully healed. Since the demon scheming sect had a powerful monster, he let them go. Now he focused on getting back at Mystical Heaven sect. But when he caught up, he saw something that made him want to cry. This blasted Mystical Heaven sect is still following the demon scheming sect. His chance for revenge was ruined. Seeing Zhuofan walk confidently, Yanmo's fists tightened. Ha ha ha, a nobody from a lower sect made a fool of a disciple from a superior sect. This will be the best joke in the Western lands, ha ha ha! An old man's voice interrupted his laughter. Who's there? Yanmo demanded. Just a drunkard. A shadow emerged, revealing the same old man Zhuofan had shown respect to at the inn. Yanmo's heart sank. You! This old man had been unaffected by Yanmo's attack on the town's people. As he approached, Yanmo was sent flying by the man's powerful aura. Yanmo realized then that this man was someone he couldn't touch. He only lived because the old man allowed it, and he had always treated him with respect. When Shui Rohua saw the drunkard, she didn't act until he left. With the Double Dragon gathering approaching, Yanmo had to act fast. But now the same old man was back.